So lots of hematite alteration. There's some good clay, big shear zone through here, graphite, and then elevated counts in the structure, that's what we're looking for.
How's it going? Staying dry?
Hey everybody, it's John Bay and Sean Hilliker from Standard Uranium. We're here to talk to you today about our Davidson River project. Here we are in the spring of 2025 and we're heading back to Davidson River this summer.
Finally.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been a while. On top of stuff we've done in the past, we've got an exciting new program with our partners at Fleet Space. We're going to talk a bit about them. But first of all, Sean, Davidson River. It's a massive, exciting project. What excites you the most about the project?
It is. I mean, it's in one of the hottest areas in the basin right now for new discoveries and development too, with NextGen right next door, Paladin coming in and taking over fission energy. So It's in the southwestern corner of the Athabasca Basin, which has seen some of the best discoveries made over the last 10 to 20 years, which is pretty exceptional. And Davidson River is one of the biggest land packages in the basin, right next to these major discoveries that does not yet have one of those major discoveries on it. So, more than 30,000 hectares of land. We've got 70 kilometers of strike length of these conductors that all look juicy. They look like what we were pulling out of the ground at NextGen before we hit the Arrow deposit. There's all the signs and all the smoke there that there could be really something life-changing there.
Yeah, so for me, getting back there, the first time since 2022, it's really exciting. We've got new data to look at now. We signed a deal with our new partners from Fleet Space. They're earning equity to come work this project for us. Not only for us, for them, this is going to be like a test case to see what their exosphere program can do in this region. So tell me a bit about Fleet Space. First of all, what do you know about them and what do you like about Fleet Space?
Yeah, they're a great team. We've been building the relationship with them over the last, couple of years, really kind of working towards this goal of working together and, deploying their passive seismic and other geophysical techniques in the Western Basin. So they've been working with, some really big players, ISO Energy and others over on the east side of the basin. But this is going to be, like you said, kind of the test case for using this technology in this type of geological setting and looking at something, for like an Arrow style deposit versus like a hurricane style deposit. So that's what our application is here. Fleet Space has been around for a while. They started as an aerospace company and they're kind of taking the, mineral exploration market by storm, applying, this technology, especially in uranium. It's not a new tech, but it's kind of new in this application in the Athabasca Basin. So we're really, really excited to be a part of that and kind of be, a very willing guinea pig to see what this can do for us at Davidson.
Now, on top of that, I mean, they're going to get started actually in the next couple of weeks. So we know as soon as the snow clears, they're going to be setting up their nodes and they're going to be getting the first surveys done. What are the surveys that they're going to be doing first and what can we expect from that?
Yeah, so we're doing 3 different survey grids, John, across 3 of our 4 major conductors on the project. That's going to be out the Bronco, Thunderbird, and Warrior conductors. So those big structural systems is our main target. And the surveys that we're going to do is going to really help us pinpoint where we want to go and following up on our previous drilling, but trying to identify, these changes in the rocks that might represent an Arrow type system, which is essentially how we found the Arrow deposit. So to date, we've been working on structural geology, looking at the EM. We have really well-defined conductors. We've been drilling those conductors. They look very prospective from a geological standpoint, but we really want to try and sharpen our pencils and see where along those conductors we might be able to identify alteration halos. So gravity is a really common geophysical survey that we use in uranium exploration, coupled with EM and those conductors to really find, where we want to go and make those targets. So to date, we haven't had that data at our fingertips. And that's what the survey is going to do. So it's called a multi-physics survey, which is multiple geophysical surveys at once.
That's exciting. So Fleet Space is going to get up there with their technicians. We're going to do that towards the end of May, get all that data. We're going to compile it all. When do we know when we're going to have those drill targets really identified?
Yeah, well, the great thing with working with Fleet Space is, a lot of this data is transmitted directly to their dedicated satellite network. So it's live data essentially.
Okay.
So we get that data back very quickly. Like I said, we're doing multiple different surveys at once. So we're doing the ANT, which is ambient noise tomography, which is a passive seismic technique. We're adding on another sensor that's also passive seismic called HVSR. It's horizontal and vertical spectral analysis. So it's gives us an even further refinement of where that top of basement is and helps us identify our structures. And then from that seismic model, we can actually correct the gravity model. So we'll be collecting gravity data as well over those same areas. So we're doing 3 different surveys at once, and we can integrate all of those together to model the subsurface and show us where we want to go. So then once that survey is done, that'll take about a month to complete. And then we can process that data, build our 3D models, look at our anomalies, and identify our drill targets, and then get back to drill that, within a month after that type of deal.
Great. So we mentioned a lot of very technical information there.
That's right.
For the novice investor or novice to uranium, can you break that down and make it a little more simpler? Like, what are we trying to do with Fleet Space? How's that going to help us make a discovery?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fairly simple concept. There's a lot of big words in there, but like I said, when you're looking at trying to find a uranium discovery like what we're looking for, which is like an arrow type system, it's a basement hosted high grade uranium system. That's what our target is on Davidson River. So purely basement hosted. We're looking for these conductors. That's type of step 1, basically. We have those. We know we have those. We've proven that out. We look where these things break and open up. And coupled with that, we want to look for density lows. So on these colorful maps that you see in everybody's news releases and things, usually the blue colors, the cooled colors, represent a low. So that's indicating the alteration of the rock around the uranium. So that's, if you look geophysically at Arrow, right next door, or Triple R, that's essentially what it looks like, is a break in that conductor with a nice blue bullseye gravity low right there that represents the changes in the rocks and the rocks around that uranium deposit. So that's what we're trying to identify through this survey, which we haven't had the survey or the data to do that yet. So this could really be the game changer.
So Sean, we're going to start the surveys mid-May. We'll get that back around mid-June. That'll take about a month. We could see drills spinning by mid-July. Tell me, if that all goes as planned, what kind of drill program do you hope to achieve this summer?
I would love to see 2 drills back on Davidson, John. I mean, it's like, we haven't drilled it since 2022. We've got the drillers to do it. I would love to see us out there with 2 drills for a couple of months, get like 8 to 10 drill holes, really sink our teeth into some of these new targets that we're hoping to identify. And I'm really excited, adding this extra layer of data is going to be a game changer, I think. And we've already got some really good targets from the work we've been doing over the last couple of years, with this AI stuff and machine learning with Goldspot. We've got a lot of really interesting places we want to go already. And then being able to refine those and cover those off with the new surveys is really exciting.
Perfect. So once again, Standard Uranium going back to Davidson River with some new technology with their partners at Fleet Space. Exciting for all our investors to take note, watch for the survey results to come back and the drills to be spinning this summer. Thanks everyone. John Bay, Sean Hilliker from Standard Uranium.